I pushed open the apartment door and called, "Lena, I'm home early." My voice echoed like it didn't belong there. I expected her usual laugh, or at least a welcome back, but the place felt strangely quiet. I stepped farther inside, trying to hold on to the excitement bubbling in my chest. I wanted to tell her about my promotion, about how my boss finally said, "Ethan, you earned it." Before I could even call out again, I heard whispers coming from the bedroom. "Yes, just keep it quiet until the baby comes," Lena said. My heart slammed against my ribs. Ava's voice followed. "Are you sure he won't figure it out?" I froze. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I didn't want them to know I was standing right there. I backed away silently and pretended to drop my keys loud enough for them to hear. Lena appeared in the hallway a second later. "Oh, hey! You're early." "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "Slow day at work?" Ava peeked out behind her. "Hi, Ethan." "Hey, Ava," I replied, trying to sound normal, even though a knot twisted tight in my stomach. Lena brushed her hair behind her ear. "We were just talking about, wedding stuff for a cousin." Ava nodded too quickly. "Yeah, dresses, flowers, all that boring stuff." "Right," I said, even though I didn't believe a word. I walked into the living room, and Lena followed. "You look tense," she said. "I'm just tired," I lied. "Work was a lot today." She sat beside me but kept her distance, like there was an invisible wall between us. Ava left after a few awkward minutes, giving me a quick wave before slipping out the door. When it closed, I asked, "So what were you two really talking about?" Lena's eyes flicked toward the bedroom door and then back at me. "Nothing important." It didn't sound like nothing. She frowned. "Why were you even listening?" "I wasn't," I said. "I just heard voices. That's all." "Well, it was private," she muttered. "You don't have to know everything." Her words stung more than I expected. "I wasn't trying to pry," she sighed. "Look, can we not do this? I'm tired." "Sure," I said quietly, even though the pressure in my chest kept growing. I tried to bring up my promotion. "Something happened today, that's great," she interrupted, standing up. "But I have to finish something. You didn't even let me say it," I whispered. She paused. "Okay. What is it?" "I got promoted." She forced a small smile. "Congrats. I'm happy for you." Her tone didn't match her words. It sounded like she was miles away. I leaned forward. "Lena, are we okay?" She looked at me like she was searching for the right answer. "Yeah? We're fine." I didn't believe it. She didn't believe it. Later that evening, she cooked dinner quietly. "You're really quiet today," I said. "I'm just tired," she repeated. "Is it because of earlier?" "No," I said, "I'm fine." But she didn't look fine. She kept avoiding my eyes, flinching whenever I asked something simple like, "Do you need help?" Or "Are you sure you're okay?" During dinner, I tried again. "If something's wrong, you can tell me." "There's nothing wrong, Ethan," she snapped. "Please stop asking." I shut my mouth and stared at my plate. I didn't want to push her away, but everything felt wrong. After we ate, she went to shower. I sat on the couch alone, picking at the loose thread in the pillow. My thoughts circled the same question. What are they hiding? When Lena returned, she said, "Can we just go to bed early?" "Yeah," I murmured, standing up. She slipped under the covers, facing the wall. I lay there listening to her breathing, trying to calm the storm inside me. Something was shifting, breaking, changing in ways I couldn't explain. And even though I didn't know the full truth yet, I felt it. My life wasn't the same anymore. Something had cracked. Something I couldn't fix. I stared into the dark, wondering how long the silence between us had been growing, and whether tomorrow would break. I sat on the edge of the couch when Lena said, "We need to talk." Her tone made my stomach twist. I tried to smile and asked, "Is something wrong?" But she shook her head and sat across from me. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. My whole body went numb. "Pregnant? Are you sure?" "Yes, Ethan. I took the test this morning. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry." "Wow. I mean, that's huge." She reached for my hand. "The baby looks like you already." I blinked. "Lena, it's only been a few weeks." "I know," she said too quickly, but I just feel it. I forced a smile. Okay, if you say so. Inside, confusion tangled with fear. I wanted to be happy. I really did. But something about her tone didn't sit right. She asked softly, "Are you scared?" "Of course I'm scared," I admitted. "I never thought I'd be a dad this soon." "You'll be a great one," she said. "You care too much not to be." I laughed nervously. I've always imagined teaching my kid to ride a bike, taking them to school, embarrassing them accidentally. Stuff like that. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "See? You already sound ready. Ready as a stretch," I said. "I'm still trying to learn how to keep plants alive." She chuckled, though it felt forced. "We'll learn together." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to feel like this moment was ours. "When did you find out?" "This morning," she repeated. "And you're okay?" "Just tired and nervous." "I'm here," I told her. "Whatever happens, we'll handle it." She nodded, but something about her silence felt heavy. That evening, she said she needed to make a few calls. "Just work stuff," she added. "Don't worry." I tried to relax in the living room, but my mind kept spinning. A baby, my baby, our baby. I kept repeating it to myself, hoping the words would settle the unease in my chest. Then I heard her voice from the bedroom, soft, tense. "Caleb, stop panicking," she whispered. My heart dropped. I stood up slowly, moving closer without making a sound. "I told him," she said. A male voice answered, low and familiar. "How did he react?" "He bought it," she said. "Bought it." My breath hitched. I leaned closer. "He thinks everything's fine," she continued. "Just calm down," Caleb sighed. "I don't know, Lena. This is messy. You think I don't know that?" She snapped quietly. "Just keep your voice down." I stepped back, trying not to choke on the air. Caleb, her coworker. The guy she always said was just a friend. The guy who joked too easily with her. The guy I never liked the sound of. I moved to the kitchen, pretending to fill a glass with water. My hand shook so badly, I almost dropped it. A moment later, Lena came out. "Hey," she said, smiling thinly. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. "Just thirsty." She watched me too closely. "You sure?" "Yeah." I took a slow sip. "Who were you talking to?" "Just a coworker, Caleb." Her expression twitched. "Yeah, why?" "Just sounded like him. It was work-related," she said quickly. "Right," I nodded, pretending to accept it. "Work." She crossed her arms. "Why do you sound like that?" "I don't sound like anything. You're acting weird." "I could say the same about you," I said before I could stop myself. She froze. "Ethan, can we please not fight today?" "I'm not trying to fight." "Then let it go." I swallowed hard. "Okay, fine." We ate dinner mostly in silence. Every few minutes, she checked her phone, and every time the screen lit up. My chest tightened more. Later that night, she lay beside me in bed, resting her hand on her stomach. "Can you believe it?" she whispered. I stared at the ceiling. "Yeah, it's still sinking in."
"You're quiet,"
she said. "Thinking." "Shh." She turned toward me. "About what?" "Everything," I said. "Just everything." She kissed my cheek softly. "We're going to be okay." "I hope so," I whispered. But deep inside, doubt clawed at me, sharper than ever. I noticed small cracks in Lena's stories over the next few days. When I asked, "Why were you late?" she said traffic, but her tone shook. When I asked who called you, she said work, but her eyes shifted away. Something inside me whispered, "You already know the truth." When I finally called Noah, he said, "Dude, you sound messed up." "What's going on?" I told him. "She keeps lying about little things," he replied. "Little lies grow into big ones. Don't ignore it." I hated how right he sounded because fear was already curling around my chest. "Noah, I don't want to jump to conclusions," I said. He answered, "Then ask her straight up." I sighed. "She'll just get mad." He paused and said, "Or she slip. Either way, you deserve answers." I wished answers didn't hurt more than questions, but they always did. That night I finally asked her, "Why were you gone so long after work?" She stiffened immediately. "Why are you tracking me now?" she snapped. "I'm not," I said gently. "I'm just asking," she responded. "This is paranoia, Ethan." Her voice shook like she practiced the anger beforehand. "I'm not paranoid," I whispered. "I'm confused." She rolled her eyes. "You're imagining problems?" I said, "then explain the lies." She froze. "What lies?" I replied, "Your schedule never matches what you tell me." She groaned loudly. "I can't deal with this." Then she walked away, leaving me drowning. The next morning at work, Julia approached me. "You look exhausted," she said. I muttered, "Rough night." She studied my face. "You want to talk?" I shook my head. "I'm just confused." Julia said softly, "Don't make decisions when your heart is bleeding. Slow down and look carefully." I nodded, even though my chest felt tight. "I'm trying," I whispered. "Good," she replied. "Don't let fear guide you." I wanted to tell her fear was the only thing keeping me alert. Instead, I said, "Thanks, Julia." She patted my shoulder and I tried to breathe normally again. When I got home later, Lena was on her phone. "Hey," I said. She didn't look up. "Hi," I asked. "Can we talk?" She sighed loudly. Again. I nodded. "Yeah, I need clarity," she groaned. "You're starting another fight?" I whispered, "No. I'm asking for honesty." She slammed her phone down. "You always twist things." I stepped back. "I'm not twisting anything," she glared at me. "You don't trust me?" I said. "I want to. But your stories keep changing." She threw her hands up. "Because you never listen." I whispered, "I'm listening now." Her face hardened. "I'm done talking." She walked toward the hallway. I reached out. "Lena, please," she spun around. "Stop controlling me." Her words hit like a punch. "I'm not controlling you," I whispered. "I just want the truth." She shook her head and stormed into the bedroom. The door slammed so loudly the walls shook. I stood there staring at the wooden surface like it might open if I waited long enough. "Why are you doing this to us?" I whispered even though she couldn't hear me. My voice cracked and the silence answered instead. Later, when she came out, she didn't look at me. "I'm going to bed," she said. I nodded weakly. "Okay." She stopped for a second like she wanted to say more, but she didn't. She just walked past me. Carrying the last pieces of my hope with her, I sat alone on the couch staring at the dark hallway. "Something's wrong," I whispered to myself. "Something big." My chest felt like it was closing in. But I still clung to the belief that she loved me because if she didn't, then everything I built was already gone. I leaned forward, pressing my hands to my face. "Please tell me I'm wrong," I murmured to the empty room. But deep down, I felt the truth waiting like a shadow. The first lie had already hurt. Whatever came next would destroy me even more. I finally whispered into the silence. "I just want the truth, nothing else." The room stayed quiet. But the emptiness felt louder, warning me that something deeper was breaking inside us. After weeks of tension eating at me, the moment I'd been dreading finally arrived in the most silent, stupid way possible. Lena was asleep beside me, breathing softly, and I kept telling myself to stop staring at her phone on the nightstand. But when it lit up, my eyes followed instinctively. My chest tightened. I whispered, "Don't do this." But I still reached for it. The screen showed a preview. "Caleb. We need to talk about the baby before he finds out." My throat closed. I opened the message anyway. The full text hit me like a punch. "No, no, no," I murmured, clutching the phone. I felt my pulse hammering. What the hell is this? My hand shook so violently, I nearly dropped the phone. I finally said her name. "Lena, wake up." My voice cracked. She groaned, rubbed her eyes, and frowned when she saw the phone in my hand. "What are you doing?" she snapped. "I need you to explain this." I handed her the phone, unable to steady my breathing. "Explain, Caleb. Explain that message." She read it, and her face drained of color. "It's old," she said instantly. "It's not what you think." It's exactly what it looks like, I replied. My chest ached. Why would he say that? Why would you hide this? You're being dramatic, she argued, pulling the blanket around herself. You're twisting things? I'm twisting things? I stepped back and pressed a hand to my forehead. He literally said you needed to talk before I find out. That's not a misunderstanding. You don't trust me at all? She shot back, her voice rising. You always jump to the worst conclusion, 'cause you keep giving me reasons. I yelled before I could stop myself. I lowered my voice immediately. Just tell me the truth, please. She started crying, but even her tears felt rehearsed. I didn't want to stress you. I didn't know how to tell you, we argued. That's all it was. About the baby? I asked, swallowing the pain. My baby? His baby? Which one? She flinched. It's yours. I swear. Then why is he talking about it like he has a say? I whispered. She looked away, wiping her cheeks. He was just being protective. I told him too much. I shouldn't have shared things. What things? I pushed. What did you tell him about me? That you've been distant, she muttered. That you've been stressed. He misunderstood. I felt something break inside me. So this is my fault now? I didn't say that. She snapped again. You didn't have to. I stared at her, trying to recognize the woman I loved. Lena, how long has this been going on? Nothing is going on, she insisted. Caleb is just a friend. Friends don't message each other about hiding a baby from the father, I whispered. She threw her hands up. You're impossible to talk to when you're like this. I'm like, what? I asked. Truthful, honest. Desperate to understand how everything fell apart, she turned away. I'm done with this conversation. I'm not, I said softly. Because I'm the one who has to live with the fallout. She didn't reply. She curled back under the blanket, facing the wall, leaving me standing alone with a hollow body and a burned-out heart. The room felt smaller with every breath, like the walls leaned in, waiting for me to finally break down. I walked out to the living room, whispering, how did we get here? The couch felt cold when I lay down. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the house and the louder chaos inside my head. I thought about the baby, about the hope I'd held. The future I imagined, the pride I felt when she first told me. Now every moment felt poisoned. I whispered to myself, is it mine? Has it ever been mine? My chest tightened so hard I had to sit up. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. All night I replayed everything, her lies, the message, the way she looked at me like I was the problem. And by morning, I knew something had shattered that could never fully be repaired. I woke up feeling like my chest had been stepped on. I sat at the edge of the bed, rubbing my face when Lena walked in holding a cup of tea. You're up early, she said softly. I didn't sleep. My voice sounded dead. Lena, we need to talk about something important. She stiffened instantly. About what? The baby, I said. I talked to a nurse yesterday. They said some clinics recommend DNA testing early, just standard prenatal care. I think we should do it too. Her eyes widened, but she forced a smile. That's fine. If it helps you feel better, that's it? I asked. You agree just like that? Yes, she said quickly. It's routine. You said so yourself. I swallowed hard. Right, routine. Her smile faded. Do you think I'd lie to you about something like this? I don't know what to think anymore, I whispered. She shook her head, muttered something under her breath, and walked out. I sat there until my phone buzzed. Noah, you up? Me, can you drive me to the clinic today? Noah, say less. I'll be there in 10. When he arrived, he didn't even wait for me to buckle in before asking, You sure about this? No, I said. But I can't breathe with all this doubt, he exhaled. Then let's get answers. The drive felt longer than it really was. I kept tapping my fingers against my leg until he finally said, Dude, stop. You're making me anxious. I'm making you anxious. I stared at him. I feel like I'm about to throw up. Then talk to me. What's in your head? I'm scared, I admitted. If the baby isn't mine, everything breaks. If it is mine, then I've been doubting the woman I love. Either way, he said, you deserve the truth. When we walked into the clinic, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. The nurse smiled, asked my name, and led me back. She explained the procedure, but I barely heard anything. I just kept thinking, how did my life turn into this? When it was done, I walked back to the lobby feeling hollow. Noah stood when he saw me. That quick? Yeah. I rubbed my arm. It felt wrong. How? Like I just betrayed myself, I said. Like I ripped open something I wasn't ready to see. He put a hand on my shoulder. You didn't betray anything. You're surviving. On the ride home, I stared out the window. What if she's innocent, and I just broke her trust forever? And what if she's not? He countered. You can't let fear keep you blind. I didn't answer. When I walked into the house, Lena was cooking. She turned and smiled too brightly. I made your favorite. Thought you might be hungry? Not, I said. But thanks. She set the spoon down. You're acting like I did something wrong. You won't talk to me honestly, I said. I can feel it. You're imagining things, she said sharply. Ever since that stupid message, stupid, I cut in. It shattered me. She paused, then sighed dramatically. Can we please move forward? I'm trying, I said. But I can't pretend I didn't see what I saw. She looked away. Well, I'm doing my best. We didn't speak the rest of the evening. Days passed like slow poison. Lena stayed close, hovering around me with forced smiles and small talk. She cooked meals she barely touched. She asked how I felt every hour. She tried so hard to appear calm, but her eyes kept darting at my phone whenever it buzzed. One night she sat beside me on the couch. Do you hate me? She asked. No, I said. But I'm scared of what's coming. You act like the result will ruin everything. It might. She grabbed my hand. It won't. You're overthinking. I hope you're right, I told her, even though a part of me didn't believe it. She leaned her head on my shoulder, but it felt unfamiliar, like someone I used to know was borrowing her body. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling again, whispering to myself, please let this be mine. Let this be real. The waiting felt endless. Then, the next afternoon, my phone rang. The caller ID said, Clinic. My stomach dropped. Lena walked into the room just as I answered. Hello, I whispered. A calm voice said, your results are ready. My hand trembled so violently, I nearly dropped the phone. Do you want to access them now? The voice asked. I closed my eyes. Yes, I whispered. The moment I opened the email, my hands went numb. I stared at the bold line that shattered everything. Probability of paternity. 0%. My breath cracked. No. Lena stepped closer. What does it say? I couldn't answer. My throat closed. I felt the room tilt as I dropped the phone onto the couch. Ethan. Her voice trembled. Just tell me. I shook my head violently. Don't touch me. She reached for the phone, but I snatched it before she could see the screen. Please, she whispered. I need to know what it says. You already know, I said. My voice came out broken. You've always known. Her lips parted, and for a moment she said nothing. Then she tried. Maybe the test stopped. I held the phone out toward her. Read it. She stared at the words, then dropped her gaze, as if the light hurt her eyes. Ethan, I'm so sorry. Whose is it? My voice was hollow, ice-cold. Say it. She covered her face. I didn't mean for this to happen. Whose is it? It's Caleb's, she choked out. My chest collapsed inward. I staggered backward until I hit the wall. You told me the baby looked like me? Panicked, she cried. I didn't know what else to say. You could have told the truth. I was scared. I laughed sharp and ugly. Scared of losing me? Or scared of getting caught? She moved toward me, but I backed away. Ethan, I was lonely. You were working all the time? Caleb was just, don't you dare blame me, I snapped. Don't twist this. Not now. I'm not twisting anything. I was overwhelmed, and he was there, and I say, you cheated, I said. Say the words. She flinched. I made a mistake. A mistake. My voice cracked. A mistake is forgetting to lock the door. A mistake isn't months of lying. A mistake isn't making me think I was going to be a father. I didn't mean to hurt you. You destroyed me. She grabbed my arm. Don't say that. Please don't talk like this. I ripped my arm away. Let go. Ethan, I love you, she sobbed. You don't get to say that, I whispered. Not after this. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing into her hands. I didn't want to lose you. But you lost me the second you chose him. She shook her head over and over. We can fix this. We can talk to someone. We can figure out there's nothing to fix, I said. You were carrying another man's child and telling me to trust you. I didn't know what else to do, she whimpered. You're the only stable thing in my life. I stared at her, this woman I'd loved, defended, believed. Was any of it real? I asked quietly. Anything at all? Yes, she pleaded. I swear I love you. I swear I didn't want things to go this way. But they did, I said. And you let them. She reached for me again. Please don't leave. I have to, I said. I can't breathe in here. Ethan, please. Her scream followed me as I grabbed my keys and walked out. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Once I reached my car, my legs gave out and I sank into the seat. Gripping the wheels so tightly, my knuckles burned. The sob ripped out of me before I could stop it. Why? I screamed. Why would you do this to me? No answer came. Just the pounding in my head and the taste of my own heartbeat. I started the engine and drove with no idea where I was going. My eyes blurred until the streetlights turned into smears of gold. My chest hurt so badly I pressed a hand against it, hoping the pressure might hold me together. I yelled until my throat was raw. I cried until I couldn't breathe. I punched the steering wheel again and again, wanting the pain to go somewhere else, anywhere else. At some point, I pulled over on an empty road, turned off the car, and leaned my head against the window. I trusted you, I whispered. I trusted you with everything. The wind outside didn't answer, but it felt like it was listening. My breathing steadied slowly. My tears dried into a tight burn on my face. I closed my eyes and said the words I'd been avoiding. I won't let her bury this. I straightened, wiped my face, and stared ahead into the dark. She won't escape the consequences, I said. Not this time. When I walked into the house the next morning, Lena jumped up like she'd been waiting all night. Ethan, please talk to me, she said. I have nothing to say, I replied. Hanging my keys on the hook without looking at her. You can't shut me out. We can fix this. No, I said. You can fix yourself. I'm done fixing us. She grabbed my sleeve. Don't leave me. I can't do this alone. Should have thought about that before getting pregnant with someone else's kid. She burst into tears. Caleb said he'd help. He promised. I raised an eyebrow. Did he? He's just scared, she insisted. He needs time, or he's running, I said. She opened her mouth, but my phone buzzed. I stepped back and answered it. Noah asked, You okay? No, I said, but I'm standing. Then keep standing, he said. Come over if you need to. I might. Good. Don't let her drag you back. I hung up as Lena asked, What did Noah say? Nothing for you to worry about. It's not fair, she said. Everyone hates me now. They don't hate you, I replied. They're just seeing you clearly. I'm still the same person. That's the problem. She looked like she might collapse, but I wasn't holding her up anymore. I picked up my bag. I'm going to work. Please don't leave me like this. I already have, I said, and walked out. At work, Julia tapped my arm. You look awful. Sit. Talk. I'm trying, I said. I'm trying to not fall apart again. What happened? She cheated. The baby isn't mine. Julia's face tightened. Ethan, I know. What are you going to do now? Move forward, I said. I don't have anything left to lose. It's not true, she said. You have yourself. Don't forget that. I nodded, and she gave me space. A few minutes later, Riley from accounting passed my desk. She paused. You good? She asked softly. No, I admitted. Not even close. She hesitated. If you ever need someone to talk to, I don't mind listening. Something in her voice was gentle, warm, in a way I hadn't heard in months. I managed a small smile. Thanks, Riley. She nodded and walked away, giving me the quiet I needed. That evening, Lena called me nonstop. I ignored every call. Then Evan, her brother, called. I answered because he wasn't the enemy. Where are you? He asked. In my car, I said, trying to breathe. I just talked to Lena, he said. She told me everything. I let out a shaky breath. Then you know why I'm gone. I'm not calling to defend her, he said. I'm calling because she needs to face what she did. She will, I said. Life's already handling that, she said. Kaliba blocked her. I rubbed my forehead. Not surprised. She's losing it, Evan said. She kept saying she ruined everything. She did, I said flatly. You're too calm, he said. That scares me. I'm just empty, I said. Evan sighed. If you ever need anything, you call me. Thanks, I said quietly. When I got home, Lena sat at the dining table. Mascara streaked down her face. Caleb won't answer my calls, she whispered. That's not my problem. What am I supposed to do? Figure it out. You're cruel, she said. No, I replied. Cruel would be letting you think I'm coming back. I don't deserve this. Yes, I said. You do. She slammed her fist on the table. I said I was sorry. And I said I don't care. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. Maybe she didn't. Maybe I didn't either. Later that night, I stepped into the living room. She followed me. Are you really leaving for good? She asked. I never said that. What does that mean? It means I'm not making this easy for you, I said. But I'm also not staying in this broken house pretending nothing happened. So what do you want from me? She asked. Nothing, I said. Absolutely nothing. She covered her face. Please, Ethan, I can't lose everything. You already are, I said. Her voice cracked. Are you happy watching me fall apart? No, I said, but I'm done saving you. She dropped to her knees. Please don't let this be the end. It's the beginning, I said. Just not the one you wanted. She looked up at me with shaking eyes. What are you going to do? I opened the door and stepped outside. Heal, I said, and let karma handle the rest. I sat across from Dr. Harper Quinn, twisting my fingers together as she adjusted her glasses. Ethan, why don't you start with what brought you here today? She asked gently. I lost myself, I said. That's the easiest way to say it. How did it happen? A lie, I answered. A long, slow lie that I kept trying to paint as love. She nodded. Tell me what hurt the most. The moment I saw the DNA results, I said, it felt like someone reached inside me and tore something out. What did you do after that? I walked away, I said. For the first time in years, I walked away from her instead of walking toward her. How does that make you feel now? I took a shaky breath, like I buried a version of myself. Dr. Quinn leaned forward. And are you ready to let that version go? I don't know, I said. He trusted too easily. He loved too blindly. He got destroyed. What if I told you he wasn't weak? She said. I looked up. Then who was he? A man who tried, she said. A man who didn't deserve what he got. My throat tightened. I want to move on. I just don't know how. We take it step by step, she said. Pain isn't a prison unless you lock the door yourself. I let out a breath I'd been holding since the moment everything collapsed. I don't want to be trapped anymore. Then let's open the door, she said softly. Later that evening, I walked into the house to grab the last of my things. Lena stood by the hallway, eyes red, hands shaking. Ethan, can we talk? We've done enough talking, I said. She stepped closer. Not like this. Please just hear me. I dropped the box in my hand with a sigh. Say it. I still love you, she whispered. I meant everything I ever said to you. Shook my head. No, you didn't. I did, she insisted. I messed up, but my feelings for you were real. If they were real, I said, you wouldn't have done what you did. She swallowed hard. I was scared. I was confused. I didn't think you thought enough to lie, I said. Every day. Every night. Every time you touched me, she covered her face. I hate myself for what I did. I don't need you to hate yourself, I said. I just need you to let me go. She froze. You're really leaving me? I'm leaving the version of us that never existed, I said. She stepped toward me again. We can still fix it. We can try therapy. I can prove myself. I can show you you don't owe me anything, I interrupted. And I don't owe you another chance. Her voice cracked. So that's it? After everything? Yes, I said. After everything, she grabbed my wrist. I can't do this alone. You're not alone, I said. You have your family. You have the father of your child. Caleb doesn't want the baby, she cried. He said it's too much. He said he isn't ready. It's between you and him, I said. Not me. She sank to the floor, sobbing. Please, I can't lose you. You already lost me, I said quietly. I just didn't realize it until now. She looked up at me with desperate, broken eyes. Do you still love me? I paused. The silence stretched. Then I whispered, I loved who I thought you were. She flinched like I'd hit her. I picked up my box and walked toward the door. Ethan, she screamed, don't walk out. I need to live again, I said, and I can't do that here, please. She begged, crawling forward. Just say you'll come back. I won't. I opened the door. The cold air brushed against my face. It felt like the first breath of a new life. Goodbye, Lena, I said. No, she sobbed. Please don't say that. But I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. When I got into my car, Dr. Quinn's words echoed in my head. Pain isn't a prison unless you lock the door yourself. For the first time, I felt the door unlock. I whispered to myself, I'm not trapped anymore. It's the ghost of us finally let go. I woke up the next morning feeling something unfamiliar space. I said it out loud just to hear it. I can breathe again, I whispered. The quiet didn't scare me. It felt like permission. When Riley called and said, You alive? I laughed for the first time in weeks. Barely, I told her, but I'm getting there, she replied. Good. You deserve a day that doesn't hurt. I rubbed my eyes and said, I think today might actually be that day. She paused before answering. Then let's make sure it stays that way. I met her at the cafe near the river. She waved me over and said, You look lighter. I sat down and replied, I feel lighter. She leaned forward. So what now? I shrugged. I rebuild. Slowly. She nodded. Good plan. I sipped my coffee and said, I'm terrified, though. She smiled. Terrified means you care about where you're going. I exhaled and muttered, I just don't want to fall apart again. She tapped the table. You won't. Not with the right people around. Later that afternoon, she walked with me along the riverbank. Caleb's gone, she said suddenly. I blinked. Gone where? She shook her head. He quit his job, packed up, left town. No forwarding anything. I breathed out slowly. So he bailed. She nodded. Lena told me this morning. She's panicking. I rubbed my jaw. I don't feel happy about it, Riley answered. You're not supposed to. It's just life catching up with her, I whispered. It still hurts. She replied, healing doesn't mean indifference. It means you're not chained to it anymore. That evening, I drove to my parents' house. My mother opened the door and gasped. Honey, your face? I said, I'm okay. Really? My father stepped behind her and asked, You want to sit, son? I nodded and followed them in. My mother held my hand. Tell us, she said. I swallowed hard. Lena cheated. The baby isn't mine. It never was. My father clenched his jaw. Why didn't you come sooner? I whispered, I didn't know how. My mother whispered, You're home now. Start there. We sat around the living room, and my father asked, What do you need from us? I shrugged. Just support. Someone real. My mother squeezed my shoulder. You always had that. I let out a shaky breath. I thought love meant endurance, my father replied. Love means truth. Without it, everything collapses. I nodded slowly. I kept trying to fix something that was never whole, my mother said. Now you get to rebuild yourself, not a broken relationship. I whispered, I want that. I really want that. When I got back to my place, Riley called again. So, how'd it go? She asked. I answered, better than I expected. They didn't judge me. She laughed softly. Of course they didn't.
I sat on the edge of my bed.
Riley, I feel like I'm finally stepping out of something dark. She replied, that's because you are. I closed my eyes. Is it normal to feel guilty about feeling free? She hummed thoughtfully. Yeah, but freedom isn't betrayal. It's survival, I whispered. I needed to hear that. I lay back and stared at the ceiling as she said, so what's next for you? I exhaled slowly. I start over. I build routines again. I take my life back piece by piece. She replied, you're already doing that. I smiled faintly. It feels fragile, she said. Everything new feels fragile. That doesn't mean it's weak. I let her words settle. Riley, thank you. Really? She answered, you don't owe me thanks. I'm just glad you're finding yourself again. I closed my eyes. I didn't realize how long I'd been gone, she whispered, then welcome back. I laughed quietly. It'll take time. She said, good. Nothing real happens fast. I felt warmth spread through my chest. I think I'm ready, I said. Ready to live without the weight, she replied. Then go live. Ethan, the world's been waiting. For once I believed her. As I hung up, I felt the quiet settle around me like a reminder that for the first time in years, my life was truly mine. I spotted her before she noticed me. I froze, unsure if I should turn around, but then Lena whispered, Ethan, please don't walk away. I looked at her. She looked smaller than I remembered, tired, holding a newborn bundled against her chest. Lena, I said quietly, I didn't expect to see you here. I didn't expect to see you either, she replied. Can we talk? Just for a minute. I hesitated. Is it about the baby? It's about everything, she whispered. Please. I nodded. All right. 1 minute. She exhaled shakily. I'm not here to ask for anything. Not forgiveness. Not another chance. I owe you the truth. The real truth. I swallowed. I already know the truth. No, she said gently. You know the facts. Not the way I destroyed you. Stayed silent. She looked down at the infant. His name is Aiden. He looks healthy, I said, unsure why my voice felt so steady. He is. And he deserves a mother who isn't a liar. I raised an eyebrow. You figured that out now? Yeah, she said, her voice breaking. Holding him, it made me realize what I did. What I almost taught him without meaning to. I didn't respond. She wiped her eyes. I'm sorry, Ethan. Not the kind of sorry I said before when I wanted you to stay. This is different. I ruined everything. I hurt you worse than I knew a person could be hurt. And you still tried to be gentle with me. You didn't care when it mattered, I replied. You're right, she whispered. I didn't. I was scared. I thought lying would protect me, but it destroyed everything. I sighed. You had so many chances to tell the truth. You never did. I know, she said, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I'm not trying to win you back. I just need you to know I finally understand what I did to you. I looked at her trembling hands. Why now? Because holding my son made me realize something, she said. If he ever grows up and lies the way I did, if he ever shattered someone the way I shattered you, I couldn't bear it. Her voice cracked, and I let the silence settle between us. She whispered, I'm sorry, Ethan, from the deepest part of me. I know it doesn't fix anything. I just needed you to hear it. I nodded slowly. Thank you for saying it. She blinked. You're not angry? Oh, I was, I said. I was furious. I thought the anger would eat me alive. But time changes things. I'm not carrying it anymore. Her shoulders dropped in relief. Good. You don't deserve to carry pain I caused. I'm healing, I said. Finally, she looked up. I'm glad, really. I hesitated. Lena, I don't hate you. I don't want to, but I can't be part of your life. Not now. Not ever again. She nodded with a sad smile. I know. I accepted that before walking over here. Hope you become better for him, I said, glancing at the baby. I will, she whispered. I have to. Silence again. Then she said, "Can I ask you something?" "Depends," I replied. "Are you happier now? Without me?" I thought about Riley's quiet kindness, Noah's loyalty, my parents' warmth, the slow rebuilding of my confidence. I thought about breathing without guilt for the first time in years. "Yes," I said honestly. "I am." A tear slipped down her cheek. "Then I'm glad you left. You deserved a life I couldn't give you," I nodded. "Goodbye, Lena. Goodbye, Ethan." She turned and walked away, holding her child close. I felt no rage, no bitterness, only a quiet release. When she disappeared into the crowd, I whispered to myself, I survived. My phone buzzed. A message from Noah. "You good?" I typed back, "Yeah. For the first time, I think I am." As I walked toward the parking lot, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The truth hadn't ruined me. It had saved me, and I wasn't afraid of the future anymore.